Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Mariah. Today's video. You know what? Today's video is something that is so extremely personal to me that I can almost not even explain why the hell I'm explaining it to you. But ballpark figure, big mind-blown picture for me is that it will actually help somebody out there. And if me squirming here with awkwardness is in someone else's benefit, I am down to do that. So I'm sure most of you have gathered by 1, the title, and 2, just hearing me talk and the way I look. Yes, I am transgender. That means I was biologically born a boy and am now a woman. If you are already triggered and hoping I am dead right now, I suggest you just click off because the rest of this video is probably not going to be what you want to hear. Anyway, I have been transitioning for about 5 years now. Honestly, I've been transitioning for 4.5 years. I've been trying my best to do my transition low-key and at my own pace, and trying to surround myself with people that make me feel good, because it has been a freaking journey. May I just tell you that. So, today's video I'm going to be explaining some stuff that you might be interested in, such as my coming out, transitioning, why I moved overseas, and now I'm in a hotel room having a mental breakdown. Okay, so the start of my transition was around 2014. I am a 2000 baby. And that means that I was 14 at the time I came out. When I came out as transgender, it was really hard. But at the same time, it was even harder to tell myself that this is how I felt, this is who I am, and this is the process I'm gonna have to take to be the person I wanna be. And to sum it up in one word, that would be transgender. So, I lived in a small town in Australia. It's a lot bigger now, but back at the time, transgender, gay, pansexual, bisexual, none of that existed in that town. And I just never knew any better than to think that I have to be a boy. During my whole childhood, it was filled with disconnection with my own body. It was filled with, imagine if I was my sister for a day, or imagine if I had long hair for a day, or imagine if I got to wear the girl's uniform for a day. I felt like a lot of my childhood was just wishing and dreaming that one day I could be the woman that I am today. And that was really tough as a kid growing up. I was bullied quite a bit for being different, but I don't think we all knew just how different I was until 2014. So I discovered what transgender was not through someone I had met or someone I saw in town. It was online. So I stumbled upon a YouTuber called Julie Vu. I dove so far deep into everything she was doing. So she was transitioning and she was being openly a trans woman on YouTube, going through her whole transition from hormones to surgeries to this and to that, and she was explaining it so in depth, and so she was so amazingly knowledgeable of so many things that just really spoke with me and like shook my core a little bit when I discovered what transgender was. And I know it sounds kind of rude or naive of me to say, but when someone maybe even you just doesn't understand why I am the way I am and I am transgender, it's because you've probably never experienced that out-of-body experience where you really just feel such a deep disconnection with the life that you're assigned at birth, essentially. And I don't want to go too far into it because I will get triggered. So when I was coming out, at the time I was working at McDonald's, and a girl who was a lesbian started working in my team, and at the time I was so mind blown that I'd met someone that was not straight. And it was amazing, and I started talking to her more and really in depth about how she came out to her family. It wasn't the happiest of stories, but the fact that she was so brave to tell her parents how she felt about her sexuality really motivated and empowered me to come out to my own parents. So that night when my mum picked me up from McDonald's, I told her I had to tell her something, and she was a bit scared and she was a bit worried about what I was going to say, but I just had to come out with it, and I told her I was transgender. This hit hard when I verbally said it out loud. I remember being so relieved, but also burdened with the fact that it's now out there, people now know, but also so inspired in myself that I can now start becoming the person I want to be. It took a long time for my mum and my dad to come around, and it wasn't anything out of hate for me, or it was more just they saw me having a different life, and I basically said no to that. I can't put words to describe how my parents would have felt, because I am not my parents and I love them so much and I would hate to disrespect them. But I'm just saying it was a really hard couple of years there where we were all trying to find this new balance of me being Mariah and them realizing that they don't necessarily have a son anymore, but they have a daughter. And if you are about to come out to your parents and you're nervous, you're scared, you're confused about what they're going to think, honestly, no time is going to be the right time, and no time is going to be better than right now. So after I came out to my parents, I started telling my friends at school, and one by one, just like I'm sure any high school, everyone knew within about 2 weeks. That was hard for me at the start because I was not ready to physically start my transition, but the fact that everyone was waiting for me and looking at me to just change overnight was very daunting to me, and I was not at the time on board with transitioning so fast. So what I did was I took it upon myself to take charge of my life, and I started to transition at my own pace and at my own time. So I remember the first thing I ever did for my transition was just decide I wouldn't be cutting my hair anymore. I actually shaved all my hair off at the time, and I was like, I'm going to start fresh, and I'm going to start brand new, and I'm going to donate some money to charity at the same time. So what I did was I shaved my head completely. First time I saw myself with no hair, and yeah, so I started. So that was the first step in my transition, was simply just to cut my hair and tell myself I'm going to grow it. And as I started progressing with my transition, my friend took me to get my eyebrows waxed with her, and that was a pretty cool thing for me to do. Honestly, everything I did, it was hard for me to do. So when I'm saying that I did these things, I don't expect for you to just think it was an easy thing for me to do. It was very hard starting my transition, and I really would not put it on anyone to feel what it's like to go through at the start because it's something else. So what I just, so starting off slow, I shaved my legs, I painted my nails with a clear coat, I started crossing my legs when I sat down, I wore some, I guess you could say, more gender neutral clothing, and then it slowly started to progress, as in me wearing a little bit of makeup, or me maybe wearing a shirt that's possibly from the girls' side of the store, and progressing so much to the fact that I eventually just started transitioning so fast. And then going from that, I eventually just did one step at a time and then got to where I am today. So something that has actually changed the most would be the mental side of my transition. Hormones was something mentally I thought I was prepared for. Physically, I think I was definitely ready for hormones, but mentally I was still dealing with a lot. I am still dealing with a lot from my past and my present, and probably my future, but hormones was something that really shook my head. I was someone who always liked to keep their feelings to themselves and never really liked to have sudden outbursts of like things that made me like more than just not normal me, that was just like normal happy me. And hormones mentally really threw me through some loops. It was my mind changing from more male perspectives to now female, with the way that my moods had just in the sense the way my moods swayed and moved and changed. That all is so hard for me to explain, and I don't want to be dumb and try explain it to you, but I'm just saying from my perspective, the way my moods would change and the way I felt like I acted and the way I perceived information coming to me, it felt like it had all changed. And for me to get used to that was very, very hard. And that was once again a really long process. So actually the same day that I was prescribed my hormones and started to take them, I also legally changed my name. So when I did start hormones, I was 18 years old. My parents did ask that I waited till I was 18, an adult age in Australia, that I start taking my transition to the next level. And I respected that. It was hard for me to, it was definitely hard for me to respect their opinion. So when I was 18, I got my hormones, and that same day I also changed my name. And now my name is legally Mariah Louise Brown. My middle name used to be my dad's name, and at the time of when I was changing my name, I didn't really want to have a male name as my middle name still, and so I did swap it out for my mum's middle name. And that would be why my last name on all my social medias is now Mariah Jace. That's kind of like a little, sorry dad that I wiped your name out of my name, but it's there somewhere. So consider me Mariah Jace. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I know it has been very sloppy, and I know the lighting has been very bad, and I know I've been getting off topic every 2 seconds, but I'm really glad I talked to you today, and it made me feel a lot better to get so much off my chest that honestly I have not in a very long time. And thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Also, if you liked today's video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what you thought. Also, subscribe if you want to. It would actually mean a lot. If you subscribe, I mean, down to be a best friend, honestly.